BRUCAST is back, baby.
This BRUCAST episode is brought to you by the BRUCAST Store. Explore a store filled with awesome goodies from hoodies to t-shirts to mugs. We've got you covered. Stay in style with BRUCAST. Embrace the shock, set the trend. Visit now brew-cast.com/store. Link below.
Back with the fire, can't you see the flames? From Deutschland steps comes the BRUCAST name. Voices like thunder breaking all the chains. Unleash the fury like a runaway train.
Alright, hi everyone, welcome back to another BRUCAST episode. If it's your first time watching the show, make sure to like and subscribe. If you're listening to Spotify or Apple Podcasts, please ring the show 5 stars. This will ensure that the podcast recommends to even more people and allow me to keep doing what I love. BRUCAST also on Instagram, X, and TikTok, where I upload shorts with the highlights of the show. So follow now, BRUCAST on Instagram, X, and TikTok. Links in the description below.
Here we thrive, we survive!
Oh. Damn, I was muted this whole time. I'm sorry, everyone. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. I think we lost some time already. Without further ado, let's talk with our guest. We have a very special guest today here with us today. His name is Dr. Alex. How are you doing, Dr. Alex?
Hi, how's it going?
I'm great, man. Thank you so much for being here. I'm a little bit awkward because I was muted this whole time. It happens.
Yeah.
So, for those who do not know you, first of all, you're speaking directly from New York, am I right?
That's right. Yeah, we're in New York. I practice in Yonkers, New York.
That's amazing. I've been to New York once. If I had to describe the city in one word, I would say it's massive. I would say that's the word, massive.
Yeah. Okay.
For how long have you been living there?
So I've been in the New York area for most of my life. I also lived in the Dominican Republic for about 8 years. But I've been practicing chiropractic for about 21 years now.
21 years. Whoa,
Yeah.
man, it's a calling.
Yeah. Yeah.
So now I'm curious. How this whole journey started?
So my journey started when I was in undergrad. I was pre-med, so I was looking to get into medical school, and I was looking at different types of doctors, different kinds of providers, psychologists, dentists, podiatrists, medical doctors, and I got to shadow a chiropractor, and I myself was moving some furniture, and I hurt my back, and I developed severe back pain and shooting leg pain. And I went to see the chiropractor, and I got some amazing results from that. And I decided to kind of stick with chiropractic.
So you had a life-changing experience, let's say. That's amazing. That's amazing. So what exactly happened to your back?
So it was a disc herniation. So sometimes when you're lifting heavy, you put a lot of pressure on the spine, and that can cause the disc to kind of bulge. And when they bulge, you have the nerves immediately behind them, so that can compress the nerve. And when you're compressing a nerve, that can be extremely painful, especially if that nerve is like going down your leg, it could shoot down your leg.
Wow. When I think about chiropractors, for some reason, I think about bones.
Yeah,
But you just mentioned nerves.
that's right.
So I guess they are all related?
Yeah. So your nervous system is the only organ in your body that's completely encased and covered by bone. It's protected by bone. So you have your skull and you have your spine. And underneath that is the brain and the spinal cord, which is, your nervous system. And your nervous system controls everything, every organ, every part of your body. So when there's a shift in the bones or a herniation in the spine, that can easily compress the nerves and affect other aspects of your health.
That's so interesting. I didn't know that. And
Yeah.
how does someone know that? I mean, they have a nerve being compressed. I would say pain is would be my first guess.
Yeah, pain could be one of the symptoms that you experience. Tingling, numbness are also symptoms. But depending on which nerve is being compressed, so let's say it's going to the nerve that sends information to your digestive system, you may not be experiencing pain. You may have digestive issues where your digestive system is not functioning the way it's supposed to. And that could be, coming from the spine.
Wow, that's amazing. So your digestive system could not be working correctly because of something that's happening on the spine?
That's right. That's right.
Can you explain that a little bit more, because it's so hard for me to understand? If
Yeah.
like for me who does not study those things, it feels like those are completely different, separate things.
Yeah. So your nervous system is the first organ that forms, and
Okay.
the reason why is because it controls the other organs and it sends information. So, you have different nervous systems. One is kind of like your fight or flight, where you're actively doing things, and the other is just your autonomic nervous system, where your body's just kind of making things move and function. Your heart, you don't have to tell it to beat. Your digestive system, same thing. You don't have to tell it to do its function, but it's controlled by your nerves. So when there's pressure on the nerves that go to a specific organ, it's going to affect the way that organ functions. So you can have issues, you know, in other organs and not necessarily feel pain and just have dysfunction in those organs. There was a pathologist, a doctor who studies cadavers, and he studied over 200 cadavers, and he found that whenever there was a pinched nerve, there was organ damage. So, it was directly correlated that if there is a pinched nerve, there's organ damage.
I think that's the best segue possible for me to ask you. I've been that was not programmed, that it was not scheduled. It's just happened to be. It's been about, I would say, 3 weeks now. I've been having this pinching sensation here on the left area of my belly. What could that be?
It's hard to say, there
Ah.
could be things going on, but you definitely want to start with your visit to your medical doctor, get your blood work, your urine, get a full evaluation, imaging, X-rays, MRIs, whatever they feel is necessary. And if you can't get to the bottom, I would definitely integrate chiropractic, because a lot of times, people don't think about, what can, what can happen if there's irritation on your nerves. And, one of the things that can happen is that there's dysfunction in these organs. As chiropractors, we don't go around saying, hey, we cure, digestive issues or we cure reproductive issues. But a lot of times we'll have patients that come in with those issues and leave without them. They have those corrected because they were caused by irritation on the nervous system.
Interesting. So first, would you recommend someone that there's having like a pinching sensation to first try the magical to see your doctor,
Yeah.
X-rays?
Yeah. I mean, I would even, tell people to consider seeing both your chiropractor and your medical doctor. That way you can, address everything that could be potentially going on, and make sure you get it cleared up. A lot of times with medicine, we'll just kind of treat the symptoms, where we're giving you a medication and we're just treating the symptoms. But you want to figure out what's causing those symptoms, right? You want to get to the root cause of that. And sometimes, it's because there's an issue with your spine.
Got it.
So addressing the symptoms and addressing, the potential cause, so that it doesn't keep coming back is important.
Got it. Got it. How much of most symptoms would you say are related to stress, or the origin of? Yeah, I think that's my question. How much do you think they're related to stress?
Well, stress can cause a number of different issues. One of the things that happens is that we tighten our muscles. So we'll develop neck pain, shoulder pain, low back pain because those muscles contract. But also it affects us, in our hormones. We produce cortisol, which is a stress hormone. So you have these hormones that are also causing havoc in your body. Inflammation, lack of sleep, your body's unable to heal properly because you're not resting. So stress can do a number on our health, from musculoskeletal issues to hormonal issues.
I see. So, but would you say that's the primarily cause of most of those problems, or
Well, it's a cycle. So
it's a
one
cycle?
will affect the other. So sometimes we'll have neck pain, and that causes, the us to develop stress, or we'll have stress that leads to neck pain. So, um, you know, it's definitely a cycle where one affects the other.
I see. Everything's kind of interacting with each other. The reason why I'm asking this is because I know a lot of coworkers, friends of mine that I spend like 8, 9 hours per day on the computer every single day. Over time, they develop back problems,
Yeah.
and their solution, at least those folks that I know, um, they just go to a Thai massage place and they just go there and say, "Hey, I have this back problem," and the lady walks on their back. I don't know what what she's doing, and apparently it helps.
Yeah. So it could be beneficial, especially if you're able to loosen up the muscles, get a massage. I wouldn't recommend the walking so much because sometimes you could be, pushing something out of place. You could be pressing on an inflamed disc. You could be, compressing a nerve where there's arthritis or stenosis. Um, but integrating chiropractic would help because what we do is we focus on restoring motion where the motion is lost. So wherever the segments in your spine aren't moving properly, those are the ones we restore motion to. We also help balance out the muscles. Massage is great. I would definitely integrate that, but I wouldn't just stop there. A number of things that happen when you're sitting too is that you're double the pressure on the spine and the low back because it's kind of like where your weight is like being compressed there. So having some proper support in your chair is important. Using a desktop where you're looking at the monitor straight ahead as opposed to staring down or looking up, having the keyboard low so you're not shrugging your shoulders and your body's not being in an awkward position for too long, and then getting up, every hour if you can, and moving around, increasing circulation and stretching those muscles could be very beneficial.
You heard it here first, guys. Stand up, go for a walk. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I heard that before, man. I'm joking. So I think most people heard that. I think what's the hardest part, Dr. Alex? I'm not gonna lie because that's the hardest part for me is to
yeah,
actually do those things.
yeah,
I,
yeah,
I'm like sometimes I'm just in the zone,
yeah,
I'm like working. I don't want to stop. Like I can't go to the bathroom later. I can walk later.
yeah,
But I guess over many, like if you keep doing that every time, every day, every week, every year, like they compound, and then in 6 years you just look like a little shrimp on your desk, like
yeah.
all shrugged and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it is, a bit of a process, but it can do a number on your body over the years. So definitely, do what you can, and even if your job is so demanding that you have to sit for over an hour at a time, find time to exercise. Do it early in the morning or later in the evening. Increase circulation, get that movement going. That's going to help your body significantly.
I love that. I love that. And most people they I think they would say, "Oh, I don't have time for it." Well, look at your screen time on your phone, buddy. I'm sure there's like 3 hours on Instagram. You sure has have time. I
Yeah.
promise you. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's a great advice. Um, Another thing though that I saw recently, like there's this new trend. I don't know how new this trend is. Like the raising desks. You just press a button, it
Yeah.
elevates. I guess that helps, right?
Yeah, I like that. I like that
Right?
because it takes you from a seated position to a standing position, and you continue working. So that's definitely something to integrate.
Yeah, the problem is that it's super expensive.
Yeah.
Depending on the brand, of course. So we're covering some best practice, right? So how to actually avoid going to the chiropractor. So have your posture straight when you're on the computer, right? Keep your
Yeah.
yeah.
You want
Go ahead.
you want to be looking straight ahead at the monitor, so you're not. Ideally, you shouldn't be on a laptop for too long. You want a desktop where you can look straight ahead, and the keyboard is low, so you're not having to kind of shrug your shoulders, lift your shoulders, and then some back support in your low back. So a lumbar pillow, something to that effect, that's going to help keep that curvature there in the small of your back. That's going to help a lot. Making sure that your feet are on the floor. Those things kind of minimize the stress on your spine when you're sitting.
I see. I mean, I those things are not necessarily comfortable, but maybe they're not necessarily comfortable just because you're not used to them.
That's right. That's right. So when you're sitting a long time, you tend to kind of hunch a little bit, you round your shoulders, you round the small of your back, and then you create these tight muscles in your hip flexors, your pecs, for example. And then when you kind of sit up straight, you feel that it's uncomfortable because you're activating muscles that you're normally not using that are weaker. And you're pulling on muscles that have gotten tighter over time. Even if you sit for a long time, you kind of stand up, you may notice this tightness in your hip. Well, those little hip flexors have gotten shorter because they're not lengthened. And your body has to kind of readapt to that length. So yeah, it could feel uncomfortable initially, but the more you do it, the more comfortable it'll feel.
Yeah, it's practice. It's like getting used to it. I think someone told me like once the human is the animal who can get used to most things. Like if you see there's humans on the North Pole and South Pole, like near volcanoes, like our ability to adapt is incredible. Like even
Yeah.
in healthy situation relationships, unhealthy situations relationships, like no matter where we push ourselves in, after a while we can adapt. So why not adapt to healthy patterns and healthy behaviors?
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right. And the same thing with exercise. It may seem overwhelming at first, but you start with some walking. Increase the walk, do some light jogging. You know, when you sign up to these like half marathons or marathons, they give you this plan, and it starts with like, jog a mile. And you're like, well, a mile isn't a big deal. It's the whole marathon, but little by little, they start adding to it, and your body does adapt to that.
Baby steps.
Yep.
Baby
Yep.
steps. I'm so glad that you talked about walking. I need to share something with the audience. Give me a second.
Sure.
So I have this app on my phone. It's called, I don't know, it's in German. It says Schrittzala. And I'm just flexing now. I have 413 days walking every single day.
Nice. There you go. There you go.
It gives me so much pride.
That's good. That's absolutely good. You want to make sure you keep that up. And I think it's good to track it, because when you're tracking it, it motivates you to kind of stay on point there.
Yes, yes, definitely. And you can show off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bought this Apple Watch for the sole purpose of tracking the steps, because as you mentioned, if you don't track it, it's kind of, you forget about it. There's
Yeah.
no like goal. Like in I study game design, right? And something that they teach us in the gaming design university is the word gamification. And gamification is basically something that many companies have been doing for the past, more than the past decade, which is transform day-to-day activities more like games, like scores. I mean, the Trackzahler here, the steps. Maybe it's not a good example of it, but there's like many apps on that I've seen on iPhone, like track how many dishes do you do per day, how much time do you spend doing the laundry, and this give you like experience points, and you can level up your character in the phone. And I
Yeah.
think it's a great idea. People love games, so why not?
Yeah. Yeah. That's great. Tracking it is huge, and setting goals too. I myself did some powerlifting and
Oh,
some running. And when you sign up for these competitions, you get more focus because you want to go over there and perform well. So setting goals and signing up for these things, these 5Ks, whatever they have going on in your area, that'll kind of inspire you to, do more and track.
Yes, yes. Talking about doing more, I want to ask you something about. I mean, we are talking about the chairs as well, and you said about doing more. I thought immediately about doing less, because there's this chair that I saw. It's super expensive. It's basically like a cyborg. You see, there's like a NASA chair. You sit on it, you press a button, and it goes like 180 degrees, and you have monitors all around you. You have a mouse, a keyboard, or a magnetic attached to like a little table that stays on top of you, and basically you're laying down, but you can work.
Yeah.
How healthy that is? Because I mean, yeah, take it away. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds comfortable. I'm not familiar with it myself. I've never used it, but it sounds comfortable. But you want to, have circulation going in your body. So movement is key because it helps to lubricate your joints. It helps to send nutrients to your nervous system. It's just movement is essential. So if you're spending 8 hours in bed and then you're laying in a super comfortable chair for another 8 hours, that's a significant amount of time. So it doesn't sound like it would be harmful if you're using it for some time, but I definitely wouldn't, spend another 8 hours on that.
Oh man, the gamers are shaking right now. Yeah. So standing from a while. So another thing that I saw, but I don't know how related it is to chiropractic, is how the eyes, they also, they I don't know, they get harmed. That's the correct term. It's just not healthy for you to spend all the time watching it, looking at screens the whole time. So
Yeah.
we touched a little bit on standing up, going for a walk, and doing something else for a second. That's also helpful for your eyes, as far as I know.
Absolutely, yeah, yeah. It does strain the eyes to be, staring at screens all the time. Um, it even interferes with our sleep. So they recommend usually disconnecting a couple of hours before sleep. Um, but you want to limit that too because it does stress your eyes and can cause harm over time.
Are there recommended limits or best practices regarding?
Not sure the exact amount of time that's recommended, but there's also like filters that you could put on the screens to minimize that blue light. Um, but you want to be active, so you want to be out there. You want to see the sun, get some vitamin D. You want to move, and ideally without staring at a screen. You're crossing the street, people are staring at the screens all the time now. So yeah, disconnect. Kind of set goals for that too, where you're like, okay, I'm going to limit my time for scrolling to an hour or whatever. And if you're you're an influencer and you're posting, post your content and move on. Get some exercise.
Post your content and move on, folks. Yeah, I mean, you can get your vitamin now if you can go outside of your Apple Vision Pro. I, with the screens directly glued to your eyes.
Yeah.
It's the future. We're getting there.
Yeah, it's a little crazy, but we need the sun. We need to move. We need to get back to a little bit of what we used to do.
Dr. Alex, how someone improve as a chiropractor? Because I guess I don't test. I'm gonna say test subjects. Is that a thing? Do you need to? Do you fail? Can you break someone? Do you need to break people in order to learn? How is this learning curve in the world of chiropractic?
It's pretty interesting because we learned on each other when I went to school. And now they have mannequins where they kind of test the amount of pressure that you put on these mannequins, so they know how much force you're delivering to the potential patient. But we learned on each other, so we were, they do teach you how to make sure that it's safe because the first thing we study is anatomy. We study that extensively, so we know the limits of the body. How far your neck is supposed to turn, for example. And the adjustments are done within your normal range of motion. So it's very, very safe. When it comes to chiropractic, we have the lowest malpractice because it's so safe. And there's no side effects with what we do. Unfortunately, with medication, there's side effects for just about any medication. You know, if you take it long enough, there could be some harmful side effects. There was a study in the Mayo Clinic that found that, you know, over 30 million people take, you know, over-the-counter and prescription NSAIDs for inflammation, and they cause severe gastrointestinal issues where there's over 100,000 hospitalizations each year and over 16,000 deaths just from taking these medications. So you want to definitely try the safer, more benign treatments first. Your chiropractic, your acupuncture, your massage, before you keep medicating. You know, initially you're inflamed, you're in pain, you need some medication. By all means, you know, take it, but don't let that be the treatment, the long-term treatment. You know, find out what the cause is and, you know, address it, because these medications should all be short-term.
All medications, would you say?
Just about. I mean, personally, I recently got a kidney transplant, and I got to stay on my medications for forever just because of the way the body works. You know, the immune system kind of tries to attack anything that's foreign. But you know, so there's situations like that where somebody needs to stay on medication for forever. But usually, when you're dealing with pain, you know, that should be short-term medication.
I see. I see. Oh, but it's so convenient though. What is this term? Pop a pill? You
Yeah.
just you just take it and you forget it. Problem
Yeah.
solved. Like
Temporarily, you know, over time it could get worse. So you don't want to treat just the symptoms. You know, you want to figure out why did this happen and what's causing it and how do I correct it so it doesn't keep coming back.
could you give us examples? Like chronic pain is one, could be one of them.
Yeah, chronic pain, because you know there's trauma. Let's say there's a disc herniation in your low back, and you're sitting, and you're a truck driver, or you're a gamer, or you have a blue collar job where you're lifting heavy, and you continue to irritate your back, and you continue to take medication at night to kind of get through the night and sleep and get back to work the next day. Over time, that can really do a number on your digestive system, cause ulcers and all kinds of issues. Not to mention the fact that you're not addressing the cause of the problem, and that could lead to further arthritis in the back. And then stenosis, where the bones grow out and it's always pinching the nerve. And then the only treatment at that point is surgery. So if it's ignored and you're just kind of treating the symptoms, it could get bad.
Stenosis, the bones they grow and poke the nerves.
That's right. Yeah, it's what most people call arthritis, but the bones actually grow out to try to stabilize that area there. Yeah, you got some interesting images. Yeah, that top one you see there on the left.
This one?
Yeah, that one. Yeah, that one right there. So the bones can actually fuse over time. So now you see the nerve has very little room. That second image at the top.
Oh my.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I didn't know we're capable of doing that.
Yeah, your body will adapt to that too.
That's so crazy. Look at this one. So
Yeah.
so why?
So
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
in that image, you see a herniation there, where the disc is bulging and then compressing the nerve. But the bones can also grow and compress the nerve, and that's constant pain. And then at that point, the only thing you could do is see a surgeon where he's going to cut out a piece of bone to open up that space so that the nerve isn't compressed all the time. But now your spine is weakened because it's missing a part of of the bone. So yeah, if you're just treating the symptoms, things can get bad, and it takes time. It's not going to happen overnight, but it'll happen over the next decade or two, where you wake up and then you're like, I can't do this anymore. I can't drive my truck, or I can't have this blue collar job because the pain is severe and you need some severe form of treatment.
I can only imagine how long does it take to actually figure it out what's the problem, because it seems to be hard to find out, right, what exactly is going on. There's so many tiny pieces of the bone, the nerve, the joints, and like I guess it's like is an arduous learning process and searching process.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
think that's the other reason why you should see different types of providers. You see your medical doctor, he recommends an MRI or an X-ray. You'll have some great information there. And you see a chiropractor who kind of focuses on restoring that motion, getting that pressure off the nerve. You know, you'll definitely be able to get to the bottom of it.
I saw recently on Instagram a guy, he passed away, but apparently he had some type of disease that made the bone, like his skull, to grow, like the face bone to
Yeah.
grow. What is that?
I forget the term because it's not very common, but yeah, the bones, there is a condition where the bone can grow in the skull specifically.
I'm gonna try to find it because I never seen such thing before. I don't know if I can find it right now. I'm sharing the screen, everyone. That's not it. So face bone, like skull. Let's see, bone expansion. If anyone knows, just let us know in the comments. Maybe this was 3D reconstruction of CT of the face showing the bone expansion. Gosh. I guess this hurts. Oh, there you go. Computed tomography. Security check. That's weird. But we found it. Like, it's something like that. I guess it would hurt less on the face because are there less nerves on the face than compared to the colon?
No, but if it's the skull, there isn't a lot of nerves on the skull. The nervous system is inside, so if it's growing out, it won't cause a lot of pain.
Damn, that's crazy. Dude, I don't know how you do. I remember as a kid, just the idea like of seeing blood and not blood, but like parts of people open. Like I couldn't take it.
Yeah.
I think it takes a special kind of personality to be a doctor and to be you know what I mean, to be in this world. And I don't know. It's crazy.
Well, when I was in chiropractic college, we were dissecting humans.
Oh my god.
But after that, we really don't deal with open wounds. So, once you graduated and you're done, you're good.
Yeah. But I mean, you're from New York. How many accents there? I guess a lot of your patients are just people who got in car accidents, right?
Yeah, I mean, we treat patients who've been in car accidents. Usually, though, not open wounds. More like neck pain, back pain, that kind of stuff.
I see. We had a chiropractor on the show, I think this year, not long ago. And we were talking about how famous some of them are on TikTok because they have those tables who just crack, And from someone who is not aware of the practice, it literally feels like they're breaking their bones.
Yeah, well, it doesn't feel like that. It looks like that. It's actually painless, unless you have a lot of inflammation in the area. It doesn't hurt. But yeah, I posted a few videos like that on my Instagram as well, so you can go there, check them out.
So it's standard practice then.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's more common these days, before, but a lot of people know what a chiropractor is and what we do, so it's a little bit more. And with social media, everybody's posting.
I mean, it catches people's attentions for sure.
Yeah.
What's the point of the whole clacking though? It's a table. It's not the person. It's the pet table though.
Well, there are techniques where the table makes the noise, but there are techniques where the noise comes from the patient. So it's the release of gases within the joints, kind of like when you crack your knuckles. And most of the time we're using a microphone so that it's loud. It sounds really loud. But if you're in the room, you're not going to hear it as loud as you hear it on a social media post, because we usually have a microphone nearby. So it's just a release of gases within the joints when we restore motion to the joints. Again, it's kind of like cracking your knuckles.
Oh yeah, that's true. The sound comes from the liberating the gas.
Right.
So the gas are inside of the joints?
Yeah. So, the movement of the joint allows for nutrients to get in there and gases accumulate within the joint too. So when you move the joint, sometimes those gases escape and make that noise.
Damn. Like little farts. I don't know if it can be translated like that.
Yeah.
You know,
But
another one that fascinates me is when the chiropractor is holding the head of the patients and just wiggling the whole body through the head.
yeah.
What is all of that? What's happening there?
Usually a type of decompression where they're just kind of taking pressure off of the neck. And sometimes they can be a little aggressive and kind of, jolt the whole body. Right? But usually very safe, and everything is done within the normal range of motion of the patient.
Okay, okay. So I guess when you are out of the session, you probably should feel super relieved and relaxed. Like
Yeah.
everything is
Yeah.
decompressed.
Yeah. You definitely feel a difference right after a session.
Have you ever tried a acupuncture? That's how I say acupuncture. Acupuncture. You know where to put the little needles all over your body.
Acupuncture, yeah. Yeah.
Acupuncture.
We actually offer it in our office as well.
Really?
And we combine that just because they complement each other where you're breaking up that muscle tightness with the needles as well as soft tissue work with our hands and the adjustments to the joints.
All right. So it does something.
Yeah, it's very beneficial if you're dealing with a lot of stress and you notice all these tight muscles in your shoulders and your neck. Integrating acupuncture would help break that up and get you feeling better.
Isn't that? I mean, I guess you're gonna say no, but isn't that harmful? Like just taking needles through your nerves and muscle, like
Yeah.
oh, so it is harmful.
No. It goes right into the muscle. Sometimes they could catch a nerve and it could be painful, but it's very rare because it's very superficial. So it's done, on the muscle. The tiny little needles, they're not painful at all. If you've never tried it, give it a try because you just feel a little tug. But what happens is that these muscle knots are just this cycle of tightness where the body's trying to protect that area. And those needles interrupt that cycle of tightness, eventually allowing the muscle to relax, which is what you want.
Damn, I didn't know that. I mean, you see it on movies sometimes, and they just cover the person's body with those things, and they just stay there without moving. It feels.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks super painful.
Yeah, it's not.
It's
It's
not.
not painful at all. No. I've done it so many times. Actually, was going through a divorce one time, and acupuncture got me through that because it was very stressful.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna try it. That sounds
Yeah, I swear by acupuncture.
all right. So acupuncture, I'm sorry, chiropractic
Chiropractic.
practices, um, exercises. What else do you stand by, Dr. Alex?
Getting enough sleep is very important. Eating properly, your nutrition is very important. But combining those and trying to figure out the cause of the issues, because again, we love the quick fix, quick food and quick fixes, but the body sometimes needs a little bit more, and when it comes to dysfunction that we've been creating over the years, with bad posture, with trauma, let's say you play sports when you were young and you never really address these traumas, it takes time to correct. There's no quick fix. So you want to be patient with yourself and take the time to address those issues and find the cause of the problem.
Oh man, sounds beautiful. But again, in fast-paced modern society, it's something that you really need to prioritize. Like I do gonna have this certain amount of time per week to look out for my health. That's something that you need to look for. I mean, schedule basically,
Absolutely, yeah.
for certain people, yeah. And it
It should be.
requires. You go ahead.
Yeah, it should be a priority because you have one body. So whatever you do to it now, you're gonna have to live with that later. So, take care of your body, get enough sleep, exercise, eat right.
Why was when you said quick fix, quick food, the first thing that came to my mind was like quick life, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. You're definitely gonna be taking off some years if you don't take care of yourself.
But the horrible thing is we're talking about that here, and I totally stand by what you're saying, Dr. Alex. But then I go on Instagram and I see this old lady. She's 117 years old, and she's like, the secret for longevity is good sex, a lot of chocolate and wine. I was like,
Well, a little bit of wine, a little bit of chocolate is beneficial. And those things are fine when it's in moderation. And a healthy sex life is also good. um, but yeah, sometimes you're getting little snippets of the information. So you want the complete picture, which is a little bit of everything. Your exercise, your sleep, your nutrition. Integrating things like chiropractic too, because if you're not getting evaluated, you're not seeing where the restrictions are in your spine, you could be dealing with some issues that are kind of creeping up little by little.
would you say that affects everyone, no matter who you are, over time as we age as people, we will develop problems on our spine?
I think most people, just because of the way that we live, we're more sedentary now, and even the people that are not, they're putting their body through some stresses, whether it's sports or jobs that are physically demanding. So most people will definitely benefit from integrating chiropractic care.
I see. Most people. Okay, I don't like that. is is there a certain age?
Not really. I mean, I've treated infants, I've treated the elderly, so you don't want to wait to for a specific age to start looking into that. I would just, get checked out by your local chiropractor, see what they say, and see what their reviews are like. They have good reviews, give it a try.
I see. I try to be, what's the word, preventive once. Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
And I live in Germany, right? So the doctors here, well, let's say they are quite efficient. I'm being I'm trying to be nice, everyone. I would say the doctors in Germany, they're very efficient. You go to see them, first of all, like they ask what you're doing here, like what do you want.
Yeah.
You're 20, you're 29 or 30. What do you want? I was like, I want to like test my blood. My family, there's diabetes in my family. It's like, you don't need to test your blood. Come back in 10 years. Like, okay. Or then I shared this story once on the podcast and people say I'm lying. I'm not lying, guys. I went to 1, 2, 3 doctors in Germany, one after the other, with the same problem. I want to test my blood. No, you don't need to. You're fine. You're healthy. Go somewhere else. Or I have a headache for like 3 days now. I have this problem in my arm. Every single time, Dr. Alex, they just say, come back in a week. If the pain's still there, then we're going to treat it. And gosh, like maybe it's the region where I am here in Germany, because again, my followers said that's not like that everywhere.
Yeah.
But what I mean, you're a doctor. What's up with this mentality? What do you think that's all about?
I think it's a philosophy and how we're taught in different places and different educational systems. But definitely having an approach where it's preventative is better, because you catch things early. If there's something going on, if it's within normal ranges, but still moving in a direction where illness is developing, you definitely want to catch that early. If your glucose is too high or whatever is going on, you want to address that as soon as you can. You don't want to wait until your pancreas is acting up or damaged to address it. So yeah, if you can find somebody who's a little bit more open-minded to that, I would definitely do that.
Yeah, definitely, man. I take finasteride, which is the, for those who do not know, is this little pill that helps against hair fall. How to say,
Yeah.
hair loss, right?
Yeah.
I've been taking that for a couple of years now. It helps. Look, guys, everyone. Like I have hair, right? I mean, you can see some of the entries here, but I do have hair. But when I start taking the med, finasteride, then it stopped. Before I had way more hair, but then I was not taking the thing. But then I started taking it, it stopped, and it hasn't, like, my hairline never changed since. And it's been what, I would say 5 years now. It works, but where I'm going with this is, I had to go, I would say, through 4 doctors for them to actually say, yeah, we're gonna prescribe it to you, and just to show how some of them are have this different type of what was your wording, mindset. You said
Yeah,
yeah,
it could just be the philosophy, what they believe.
philosophy. Yeah,
They could try to be a little bit more conservative, where they're kind of minimizing the amount of medication that they give out. But I think being able to get tested early and see if there's any shift there in your blood work is good. It should be encouraged.
yeah, I agree 100%. Maybe not the doctors around me, but my dream. I think we're gonna get there someday, and you tell me if it's a good idea or not. I think it would be awesome if all the Apple Watches or those smartwatches that we have would somehow be able to have some. We're talking about the gamification earlier, right? Some like have some 5 or 6 bars of your most important vital things, like glucose. You mentioned one of them. I cannot tell the other ones. Iron, or I don't know, magnesium, and you just could see easily, very easily. Your magnesium today is like 68%. Like the Sims. I'm not sure if you ever play the Sims. You can very easily see their bars. Like this Sims is like sleep deprived. His sleepiness is at 6%, and like straightforward manner, right away, what's wrong and how to address it.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I actually heard of a guy who had his Apple Watch, and they kind of detected his heart rate. He ended up having a heart attack, and it called 911. So they were able to save his life because of that. He was exercising and ended up having a heart attack. But yeah, I think that's a good idea if it could measure all kinds of things to keep us healthy.
Yeah, I think the problem with this fantasy, let's say, for now it's a fantasy, is because the only technology that we have nowadays to read those signals, they're intrusive, right? They need to actually take your blood and analyze it somehow. And how are you gonna do that with a wearable device?
Yeah,
It's impossible.
yeah.
Do you have one? I know some people are more into Garmin.
I don't have one. I'm the old school kind of guy. I'd rather just go see my doctor. Um, yeah.
Hey, whatever works. Um, all right, Dr. Alex. I'm not sure what else to ask. So I'd like to ask you if you have any links, anything else that you'd like to share, anything else that you'd like to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, touching up a little bit on the posture and the nervous system. Sometimes we'll develop that forward head posture where your head kind of goes forward. You get that hunch there. There was a Nobel Prize recipient and a neurosurgeon who studied that, and he found that when we lose that normal curvature and our head goes forward, that stretches the spinal cord and leads to disease. So, posture is very important. There was another study that found that for every inch of forward head posture, it increases the pressure of the head on the spine by an additional 10 pounds. So, yeah, posture is important, especially for us that we're now spending so much time sitting and on computers. So that's something to consider also when, deciding whether you want to go see a chiropractor or not, because we help correct those curvatures. But yeah.
Can I show you something?
Yeah.
Give me a second. One second. All right, I'm back. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I'm gonna show you. Please act surprised. Ta-da! Do you know what this is?
It's a like a neck pillow, right, to help improve the curvature.
Supposedly, it helps your neck curvature. Does it work though?
I don't know. I've never used it, so I don't know how well it works. But there are different techniques like CBP, chiropractic biophysics, where they kind of traction your neck to improve that curvature there. So, based on that, I see how it could potentially help. But I would definitely integrate chiropractic too, because you're going to restore motion where the motion is restricted and help correct those curvatures, the way that you want them to.
Okay, I see.
Yeah. So there could be benefit to that cervical pillow, but I don't know how beneficial it is.
I gonna be honest. I also don't. I bought it because the promises were amazing. Like everyone's on their phones, everyone's hunched down.
Yeah.
You're gonna buy this, and you're gonna finally have the straight posture that you've been looking your whole life. And
Yeah.
I gonna be honest. It's super uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And they say you need to wear is just lay on it for 15 to 20 minutes per day, something like that. I was like, get out of here.
Yeah.
I don't believe on this.
Yeah. Well, when it comes to correcting curvature, it takes some time. But you could do that with chiropractic care.
I see. Yeah. All right. One more question. I saw this exercise where people they take like a how to say a broom. You could use a broom maybe or a stick, a long wooden stick. They
Yeah.
put behind their back
Yeah.
and they push it down, and they do that leaning on the wall.
Yeah.
Like supposedly, from what I understood, this helps your posture.
Yeah. I can see that because one of the things that happens is that our shoulders go forward. So you have this rounded shoulder appearance. And with that, posture is going to help open up the chest, activate the back muscles. So yeah, I can definitely see how that could improve your posture. But there's a lot of exercises, pulling exercises to strengthen your back, stretching exercises for your pecs, stretching exercises for your hip flexors like lunges. But yeah, there's a ton of exercises that can help with posture as well.
At the end of the day, you can basically do all of that at the gym.
Yeah. You want to know what to do, but yeah, you could potentially do all that on your own in terms of exercises. But the thing with restoring motion to the individual segments of your spine, you got to know where they're restricted, and that's what chiropractors do. They kind of find these areas that are locked, they restore motion there, and then they help improve that curvature. But a lot of those exercises you can definitely do at home.
Can definitely do that at home. I had a surgery a couple of years back. I had a lymph. In German, they call lymph node. I think that's in English lymph noodle. I don't know. And they took it out. It was horrible. And the thing is, after the surgery, I lost some of my motion on I think it was my left arm. And the thing is, like when I would extend my arms like that, one of them, the one that suffered the surgery, was visibly smaller. And it took me several sections. I think it was with a chiropractor to actually restore the full range of motion and be able to extend my arm again.
Yeah, so one of the common injuries with shoulder, especially after surgery, is frozen shoulder because you develop like scar tissue there, and the shoulder's an open joint. So you definitely want to try to move that as soon as you can to get that full range of motion. the shoulder is an open joint, so it depends completely on those small muscles around it.
Open joint. It depends on the small muscles around it.
Yeah. So movement and strengthening your rotator cuff muscles, and they're really small muscles, so you don't need heavy weight. So some light band work where you're kind of externally rotating and internally rotating the shoulder makes a big difference in stabilizing that shoulder.
I see. But there are also nerves there, right?
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of nerves there.
And I know from Breaking Bad. I was watching Breaking Bad the other day. Like Hank, I'm not sure if you know. I think he gets shot. He gets paralyzed. He stays on the bed for many months, and then he needs to start walking again. And apparently it's one of the most painful things that you can go through.
Yeah.
And the way I understand it is the nerves are trying to grow or reconnect. Could you explain a little bit more?
Yeah, it's tricky because the nerves regenerate, but very slowly, and depending on what happened in the shoulder. I myself had shoulder surgery. I used to do a lot of powerlifting, and back when COVID happened and all the gyms were shut down, I took a long break, and then I started lifting heavy again without kind of gradually getting into it. I ended up tearing a tendon there in my shoulder and having shoulder surgery, and it was a long process to get back to where I was 100%. I took like 3 months off of work because it was that long of a process. And the shoulder joint, there is a lot of nerves there. It's a brachial plexus, so it could be very painful.
Let me look at that. Yeah, I don't want to ever go through that. That sounds horrible. Nervous shoulder. Let's look at some pictures here. Damn, there's a lot of them.
Yeah, all that yellow there, that's the brachial plexus there. So you have all the nerves that go to the different parts of your hand. So you have your pinky and your ring finger, that's one nerve. Then you have the other finger is another nerve. The nerve that you hit in your elbow when you feel that tingling and that sharp pain, that's another nerve. So there's a bunch of nerves there that go through there.
That's insane. I had no idea. Are they yellow though in real life, or this is just for?
Yeah, yeah,
Huh?
yeah. They look a little bit like that.
I don't think Google gonna show me like a corpse. I actually don't want to show, otherwise they're gonna block me or something. Let me stop sharing the screen here real quick. Screen share. Now I can see it. I'm gonna look at it. Damn. Now they look like more like meat.
Yeah.
Ugh. That's not for me. That's not, I can take it. It's fine. All right, Dr. Alex. Thank you so much, my friend. Do you have any links? Do you have anything else that you'd like to share? Where people can find you? That's also important.
Yeah, you guys can find me on Instagram, dr.alex.hilario. That's HILARIO. And then on my website, chirorehabsource.com. But yeah, we try to give some educational information there too. So yeah, definitely check it out.
Check it out, guys. Dr. Alex, it has been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me. Same here.
All right, everyone, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment in order to participate in our next month's giveaway. See you next time. Bye-bye.
Have a good one.
Thank you so much for hanging out with us today. If it's your first time watching the show, make sure to like and subscribe. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, please rank the show 5 stars. This will ensure that the podcast is recommended to even more people and allow me to keep doing what I love. Check out now the Brewcast store, Explore store, filled with awesome goodies from hoodies to t-shirts to mugs. We've got you covered. Stay in style with Brewcast. Embrace the shock, set the trend. Buy now at brew-cast.com/store. Again, that's brew-cast.com/store. Link on the description below. Be a Brewcast model and get free stuff. We'd love to see how you and your loved ones enjoy Brewcast. Snap a picture of yourself, your family, your friends, or even your pets wearing Brewcast merch, or watching an episode of the show and send it to us and become part of Brewcast. We will feature you and your pictures at the end of every episode, just like the ones you're seeing on the screen right now. You can upload your pictures at brew-cast.com/contact or tag us on social media. Alright everyone, it has been a pleasure, thank you so much and see you next time. Bye bye.